All right, welcome back. If you guys made it this far, thank you. Today we're going to be talking about how you have to become someone internally before your reality can change. And this doesn't only go for your creative business, but it goes for everything in life. We're going to be talking about the intro, the inside out law, what becoming someone actually means, and how this changes everything as a creative. The outer conditions of a person's life will always be found to reflect their inner beliefs. I want to tell you something that took me longer to understand than anything else in this business. Your external reality, your clients, your income, your opportunities, the way people talk to you, the rooms that you get invited to, none of it changes first if you don't change first. And I don't mean that in a very motivational poster way. I mean it mechanically, literally, the way a cause precedes an effect. Most creatives are trying to reverse the sequence. They're waiting for the right client before they start acting like someone worth hiring, waiting for the income before they start making decisions like someone who earns it, waiting for the recognition before they start speaking like someone who has something worth saying. And the wait never ends because the external never moves first. Today, we're going deep into this, not service level, not affirmations, not vision boards, the actual psychology of how internal identity creates your external reality, and the specific steps I've used both in my own life and in the clients I've built content systems for with DR Visuals. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny. I run DR Visuals. I help photographers, filmmakers, and creatives, brand owners build content that generate leads. And this video is the one I wish I had someone handed to me 3-4 years ago, because everything I'm about to share would have collapsed the time between where I was, where I wanted to be, and where I am right now. So stay with me this whole video, because this builds. By the end, you're going to have something concrete to act on and not just to think about. So what is the inside out law? Man's mind, once stretched by a new idea, never regains its original dimensions. Why reality follows identity. So let's start with the mechanism, because once you understand why this works, you stop needing to be convinced and you start needing to act. Everything you do, every decision, every conversation, every piece of content you make or don't make, every piece you quote or apologize for comes from a single source: your self-concept, the story you're running about who you actually are. And the thing about self-concept is that it operates whether you're aware of it or not. It's not a thought you have consciously. It's the water you're swimming in. It's the operating system running underneath every app. So when a high-value client lands on your page and feels something, that feeling is a response to the signal your self-concept is sending through everything you've built. Your content, your pricing, the way you write, the way you respond to inquiries, the confidence or the apology in your energy. They can't see your self-concept, but they can feel it every time. So let's talk about the thermostat principle. And this gets really interesting, and I love talking about this because here's the best way I found to explain this. Think of your self-concept like a thermostat. A thermostat has a set point. Let's say it's set to 68 degrees. The room gets too hot, the thermostat kicks in the AC and brings it back to 68. The room gets too cold, the heat comes on. Either way, it always returns to 68. Your self-concept works the same way. It has a set point, a level of success, income, visibility, and opportunity that feels normal to you, familiar, and safe. When something pushes you above the set point, a big client, a viral post, a flood of inquiries, something in you finds a way to bring it back down. You underdeliver, you disappear, you self-sabotage in ways you don't even recognize as self-sabotaging. And when something pushes you below, a dry mouth, a difficult client, a post that flops, you bounce back because that lower state doesn't feel like you either. The thermostat always returns to its set point. So the only way to sustainability change your results is to change the set point, not the room temperature, the thermostat. Sorry, my Spanish and my English get in the way sometimes, and that's when I mispronounce words. But what most creatives do instead, most creatives try to change the room temperature. They get a new camera, room temperature goes up. The thermostat hasn't changed, so something brings it back down. The camera sits unused, the work improves, but the clients don't follow. They raise their prices, room temperature goes up, the thermostat hasn't changed, so they panic and discount, or they get an inquiry and talk themselves out of it on the call. They have a great month, room temperature goes up, but the thermostat pulls it back. They take their foot off the gas, they get comfortable, they coast until the numbers drop, and then they hustle again. This is the cycle. This is the negative loop. And it's not a discipline problem. It's a thermostat problem. The only exit is identity work. Raising the set point, becoming internally the version of yourself whose normal is the level you're trying to currently reach. So what becoming someone actually means? We do not see the world as it is, we see it as we are. It's not about faking it. I need to be careful here because this is where most people go wrong. Becoming someone internally first is not about faking it until you make it. That's a dangerous shortcut that collapses under pressure. It's not sustainable. Fake it till you make it says perform confidence even if you don't have any. Pretend to be further along than you are. Put on a mask and hope no one notices it. What I'm talking about is completely different. It's about genuinely updating your internal story, not performing a story you don't believe. The difference shows every time perform confidence cracks under real pressure, genuine identity holds. The 3 layers of internal becoming. So, what does it actually mean to become someone internally? I've broken this down into 3 layers, and they build on each other. You can't skip to the 3rd layer without doing the first 2. So, layer 1, beliefs. The beliefs you hold about what's possible for you, what kind of clients you can attract, what's your worth, what your ceiling is. Most creatives have inherited beliefs they've never examined. Good work speaks for itself. I'm not a salesperson. Creative work and real money don't go together. People like me don't charge that. I need to earn my place first. These aren't facts, they're conclusions you drew from experiences, probably earlier ones that got installed as facts somewhere along the way. The first layer of internal becoming is identifying the beliefs that are setting your thermostat and making deliberate choice about whether to keep them, not replacing them with positive affirmations, examining them, asking, is this actually true? Is this serving me? And if not, what would I need to believe instead to move forward towards what I actually want? That question, what would I need to believe, is one of the most powerful questions you can sit with as a creative building a business. Layer 2. The second layer is standards. What are you willing to accept from clients, from yourself, from your work, and from your environment? Standards are the behavior expression of beliefs. When you raise a belief about your worth, your standards for how you're treated have to rise with it. Otherwise, the belief stays theoretical. This shows up everywhere in your business. Do you take every client who shows up, or do you have criteria? Do you respond to lowball offers with a discount, or do you hold your rate? Do you deliver work you're not proud of because of the timeline was tight, or do you protect the standard even when it's uncomfortable? Every time you hold a standard that the old version of you wouldn't have held, you're uploading your updating your thermostat. You're signaling to yourself, not just to the client, this is who I am now. This is what's normal for me now. I had a client at DR Visuals who was taking every project that came in, regardless of the fits, regardless of the budget, regardless of whether the work aligned with what they wanted to be known for, talented, busy, exhausted, and completely invisible to the clients that they actually wanted. We worked on the standards first. They started declining work that didn't fit. It felt terrifying at first. It felt uncomfortable at first, like turning away money. But within 2 months, the signal they were sending changed completely. Because the clients they said no to weren't just clients, they were a statement about who they were for. The right clients noticed because the standard told them something the portfolio couldn't. So layer 3, self-image. The actual picture you carry of yourself, not who you're trying to become, who you see when you close your eyes and think about your life, your work, your place in your industry. Self-image is the most powerful of 3 layers because it's the most visceral. It's not intellectual like beliefs. It's not behavioral like standards. It's felt. It's the emotional truth underneath everything that you know. And here's what I've noticed. Most creatives have a self-image that's 6 to 18 months behind their actual skill level. The work has grown, their taste has grown, their knowledge has grown, and the picture they carry of themselves is still the versions from before all of that growth happened. So they show up with current skills and outdated self-image. And the outdated self-image always wins every time because it's the operating system that holds everything. The skills are just apps running on top of it. Updating your self-image requires something very uncomfortable. You have to let yourself be seen as further along than you actually feel. Not dishonestly, but you have to stop correcting for the gap between who you are and who you're becoming, and start operating from the actual becoming. How this changes everything as a creative. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. What changes in your content? Let me get practical because I know some of you are sitting with this and wondering, okay, what does this actually change about what I do on a Monday? Everything. And I'll show you exactly where. When your self-concept is a hobbyist or early professional level, your content asks for permission. It hedges, it qualifies, it shows the work and waits for someone to decide it's good enough. It apologizes subtly for taking up space. You can feel it in the caption, just a little something I worked on. Not sure if this is everyone's style, but I would love your thoughts. The language of someone who hasn't yet decided they have something worth saying. When your self-concept shifts, when you've done the internal work on your beliefs and your standards and your self-image, your content changes without you trying to change it. It becomes direct. It takes position. It speaks to a specific person about a specific problem with the confidence of someone who knows the answer. Not arrogance, not performative, just settled, and settled energy on camera is magnetic in a way that hustle and performance never is. What changes in your pricing? Your pricing is direct readout of your self-concept, not your skill level, your self-concept. I've worked with photographers who are technically better than people charging 3 times what they charge. The difference is never the work. It's always the internal story about what the work is worth and what kind of person is behind it. When you shift internally, pricing conversations change, not because you get a script, because you stop being triggered by the question, what do you charge? And start answering it like someone whom the answer is obvious. Clients feel the difference. A photographer who quotes their rate with certainty and is communicating something beyond the number, they're communicating, this is what this is worth, and I know it. And that certainty either attracts or filters, both of which are the right outcome. What changes in your leads? This is the one that surprises people the most. When you shift internally, when your content changes, your standard change, your pricing, energy changes, the quality of the people who find you change. Not because of the algorithm suddenly starts working differently, because you're sending a different signal, and signals attract matching frequencies. Low certainty content attracts clients who are also uncertain. They haggle, they second guess, they need convincing, they disappear before signing. High certainty content that comes from a settled, clear, specific sell concept, attracts clients who are also certain. They know what they want. They've already decided you're the right fit before they reached out. The conversation is about logistics, not justification. I watched this happen with content acquisition systems we built at DR Visuals. The clients who made the internal shift first, who did the belief work, raised their standards, and updated their self-image, they experienced lead quality changes within 60 days. Not volume, quality. The kind of conversations that don't start with, what's your cheapest option? So what's the daily practice? So how do you actually do this? Not conceptually, but every day. I want to give you 3 practices, not morning routines with 12 steps, 3 things. Pick the one that lands the hardest and start there. Practice 1, the evidence journal. Every day, write down one piece of evidence that supports the identity you're moving into. Not a goal, evidence, something that you're already happened that proves the new version of you is real. A positive client interaction, a piece of work you're proud of, a decision you made the old version of you wouldn't have made. Evidence compounds. A compound evidence rewrites the self-concept faster than any affirmation. Practice 2. The one standard. Every week, identify one standard you're going to raise. One thing you're going to accept that you previously accepted or stopped accepting that you previously tolerated. Make it specific, make it behavioral. Not, I'm going to value myself more, but I'm going to respond to inquiries that don't include a budget range. One standard every week, watch what it accumulates every year. Practice 3, the future of self-question. Before you make any significant business decision, pricing, which clients to take, what content to make, how to respond to a difficult email, ask one question. What would the version of me who already has what I'm working toward do right now? Now, not what do I feel like doing, what would the version do? Then do that. Even before you feel like that version, especially before you feel like that version. These 3 practices are not glamorous, they don't go viral, but I've seen them restructure a creative entire business from the inside out, as for myself. Because they're restructuring the thermostat and not the actual room temperature. So, what to do next? Here's what I want to leave you with. Your external reality is not the problem. It's the reflection. The problem and the solution is always internal first. You have to believe who you are before reality creates. The clients you're not getting, the income that's not moving, the content that's not covering, these are outputs, and you cannot fix an output without changing the actual input. The input is who you are being. In the quiet moments, in the business decisions, in the content you make, and the energy behind it. Change that, and everything downstream changes with it. Not eventually, mechanically. The way a cause produces an effect. Start with the beliefs, raise the standards, update your self-image, do 3 practices, and watch your external reality begin to catch up to who you've already decided to become. Now, if you want to do this work with someone who understands both the internal side and the business side, who can help you build the content system that reflects the version of who you're stepping into. That's exactly what we do at DR Visuals. The link below is a strategy call. We look at where you are, who you're becoming, and we build the content and position that close the gap between the two. Subscribe if this landed with you. Share it with a creative or a friend working hard at the wrong level. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.